What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's your boy Mo, back to talk to you guys about Madrid. Preseason's over with. We're about to start the league this coming, Saturday? We play Espanyol. I haven't been on here for a while, but so I have a lot of catching up to do with you guys. Of course, you guys know what's going on with Real Madrid. You guys have seen the signings: Bernardo Silva, Dumfries, Jan. We have Kanate. We have Cucurella, and there's some rumbling in the streets about Zubamendi. Real Madrid might be going after Zubamendi, which would be beneficial. But so far, from what I've seen from Real Madrid, I'm impressed. I'm happy with it. I'm glad Jose has come into Real Madrid, and it seems like they're really allowing Mourinho to really do what he needs to do to get the best out of this team, which is what I really wanted. I wanted them to do that with Xabi Alonso, but hey, you can't go wrong with this. I don't think you can go wrong with the special one. This is different from his first stint, because in his first stint he didn't have this much power. But I like the signings that we've made. I would like us to get another defender, and I would also like us to get another midfielder, someone with that, Rodri type of profile, which is why we most likely are going after Zubamendi. But I know people are talking about the whole thing with Rodri and Real Madrid, and he's used Real Madrid. Well, what really happened between Real Madrid and Rodri was that the fact is, or I wouldn't even say the fact, from what I've heard in the Real Madrid streets, is this: Mourinho went to Rodri, and after he finished talking to Rodri, it seemed like Rodri was still on the fence. It didn't seem like he was really, I guess, invested, or let me not even say invested. I would say he wasn't sure about, I guess, the plans of Madrid. So it never worked out. And I was always wondering, I was like, why? We've already talked to it. He said he wants to come. We're already going in to go after him. What's going on? Why is it taking so long? But we see what makes sense. And not only that, I guess the money was also kind of an issue also, because we renewed Vinny, gave him more money, and we also bought Jan Diamande. And so I guess maybe money was also a part of it, because, we already just spent 140 million on Jan, and then we also increased Vinny's contract. But since preseason has started, and since everybody has come back, or let me just say, majority of people have come back to Madrid, I like how we're looking. The pressing is great from front to back. The pressing is great. They're playing more fluid. The ball isn't stuck on one side of the pitch. It seems more. It seems like Mourinho really put his hand on this team, and you could tell. We played Schalke. That was our last preseason, and it was a dominant performance. It was a very dominant performance. I said Ibrahimovic. Mbappe could at least had about 3-4 goals. Arda, I have to admit, playing superb. Jan, he only played one game during preseason, and he only played 29 minutes. But in that time, out of all the Real Madrid players that played, he had the most completed dribbles of the whole squad, which is impressive, especially for a 19-year-old. And the reason I really love Jan is because he can dribble, but not only can he dribble, he's very physical. You're not going to bully him off the ball. You're not going to just, toss him all over the place, because he already has a massive body. So I think he's going to fit in really well, especially he's young. Mourinho is going to be able to mold him into the type of player he wants him to be. And not only that, he's already the kind of player that Mourinho will want, such a winger that can track back and also go forward. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Tchouaméni hasn't played. Jude has played. He looked good. He looks physically fit. Mbappe looks amazing. I mean, he looks like he's just picking up from where he left off in the World Cup. And so this is the thing. I think Real Madrid are going to have a great season. I'm hoping that they're going to have a great season. I think they will have a great season. I actually think if Real Madrid continue playing the way that they're playing right now, they can win La Liga. I think we still need some time to gel because I don't think we're still there, but all the signs that we've made is really going to help us for this long season. Yeah, we have a couple of center back injuries, so we only have 3 available center backs. I still want us to go get another center back, preferably Bastoni. That would be a great pickup for Madrid. But we also have to see, if we're going to make it, because I believe the transfer window is coming to a close, I think next week, I believe. So we'll see if Real Madrid can actually make another good, maybe 2. If we can make 2 good signings, 1 center back and one midfielder, preferably a CDM, I think we'll be great. Because every other position, I think we're solid, we're good. So that's that. Yes, Rodri went to Barcelona. Do I think that they needed Rodri? No. I think that Barcelona went to get Rodri because Real Madrid wanted Rodri, and this is a way to stick it to Real Madrid. Because I was even having a conversation with some friends of mine, and they were saying, well, they did need him. I was like, no. They have De Jong, they have Pedri, they have Fermin Lopez, they have Dani Olmo, and I didn't even mention Gavi because Gavi is consistently in and out of the lineup because he's consistently injured. But I don't think they needed him. De Jong is one of the best CDMs in the world. I would say he's top. I would say, let me just be safe and say top 10. But I think maybe top 5. I would say maybe top 5 as CDMs. He's one of the top CDMs. I mean, he's one of the reasons why Barcelona's midfield is so good. It's not just mainly because of Pedri or Dani Olmo or Fermin Lopez. De Jong does a lot of if they don't want De Jong, let Real Madrid get him. I wouldn't be mad at that. That's how good De Jong is. I wouldn't be mad at that. Because there was a time, I believe, Real Madrid actually wanted to get De Jong. Or was it De Ligt? I think it was De Jong. But we didn't get him. Real Madrid, they'll say that they want somebody, but then a lot of times, actually, they don't really pursue. They might just show interest, but they don't pursue. But, there's one person I have to talk about, though. And people might say, oh, well, you just hate him, No. One thing I'll always say and one thing I'll always be. I'm a Real Madrid fan. I'm a Real Madrid supporter first. I support Real Madrid more than I support any player. I will never support a player more than I support Real Madrid. Vinny looks like a shell of himself. He came into preseason overweight, which I'm hearing is because of the procedure for his chin and everything, and I think it's either the medicine or the drugs that they used on him to perform. I'm not really sure which one, but basically something about the procedure caused him to gain weight, which is fine. That I can understand that because drugs have different effects on different people, but the way that he's been performing isn't just because of the weight. You can see that there's also the effort. There's not a lot of effort. I mean, I've seen people that have been Ronaldinho was overweight and he was still balling. I know the comparison is apples to oranges because Ronaldinho is on another level, but just watching him play, because I believe he played the last 2 preseasons, and he just does not look good. Can't get by anybody. His dribbling, he loses the ball more than he gets a successful dribble, and the only reason I'm not panicking is because it's preseason. Because it's preseason, I'm not really panicking. I'm kind of like, okay, let's give him some time. He did have the surgery. He is coming back from World Cup and everything like that. Let's get him back in shape and let's see how he performs. Because if he can perform very well, then that front 3 with Diomande, Mbappe, and Vinny is going to be an exceptional, actually the best front 3 in football right now. I think they'll be better than, and this is just if all the cards play well or come out well. They'll be better than PSG. They'll be better than Barcelona. They'll be better than City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Bayern Munich. They'll be the best front 3 in the world. But the only way that they'll be the best front 3 in the world is if Vinny shows up. We need the Vinny of 4 years ago. We need the Vinny of 4 years ago. Of 2022 and 2023. That's the Vinny we need. We don't need the last 2 seasons of Vinny. So we'll see what goes on. And now he has no excuse. Vinny has gotten the money. He's gotten the image rights he wanted. And he's staying in Madrid. He has no excuses anymore. You can't say it's because of Mbappe. When you're making that type of money, you can't say it's because of Mbappe. You can't say it's because of this person or it's because of that person or it's because I'm not playing the way I want to play or the position I want to position. You can't make those excuses anymore. You're making a lot of money. He's been at Madrid for 8 years. Out of those 8 years, he's had a good solid 2 great seasons for Madrid. If I'm going to be generous, I'll say 3. But that's just me being generous. He's had more bad seasons than good seasons. The reason why they're giving him this money is because of what he's done for Real Madrid when he helped us win the 2 Champions Leagues in a row. And I know a lot of people want to say that Vinny is he's the face of Real Madrid. I never thought Vinny was the face of Real Madrid. Why? Because he doesn't have that it factor. Jude has that it factor. Mbappe has that it factor. That's why I always, even before Mbappe got there, I always thought if it's not Benzema, now that Benzema's gone, it's definitely Jude now. Jude just has just more of an it factor. I know people want to say that, well, that season after Benzema left, it was all Vinny, but it wasn't. If you go look at the stats, Jude had better stats than Vinny. The reason why Vinny was just promoted more and just pushed more was just because he's a forward. Forwards are always going to get the shine because they do more of the attacking. But if you go back to that season, because even though people were saying that, Vinny should have won Ballon d'Or. I could say the same thing about Jude. I could say the same thing about Toni Kroos. I could say the same thing about Carvajal. Vinny is a great supporting player. If there's a Batman, Vinny is your Robin. Vinny is your Robin. Now I know people are going to have their issues with what I'm saying, but it's true. Vinny is your Robin. A great Robin at that. A great Robin, but he's your Robin. Vinny is not the type of person that is going to push you to the next level. He'll help you get there, but you can't have Vinny as your main focal point. Vinny needs somebody to feed off of. That's why people were saying Vinny needs a real number 9 to succeed. If you're the main guy, you don't need another person to help you become the main guy. Mbappe doesn't need an extra person to make him the main guy. Now, to help him win, yes, but to be the main guy, he doesn't need that. Same thing with Jude. Jude doesn't need a main guy to be that guy. And why I like Jude so much is because Jude can either be that guy or he can take a step back and do other things and support whoever's the main guy is. So Vinny does have to play better. He's going to have to show up for this money, because I believe if he doesn't show up for this money that Real Madrid just paid for him, he's either going to get sold, he's going to get booed, and he's going to want to leave at the end of the day. So Vinny does have to improve. I'm hearing rumors he may not even start this weekend because Mourinho wants to get him back in shape. He wants to get him back in shape and in full motion. And he said, from what I'm hearing, is that he may end up having Vinny come off the bench for a few games, and he has to show quality. It's not that he has to get a hat trick or anything, but he has to show signs of, okay, yeah, this is the Vinny that we know and love. So we're gonna stay tuned and watch if Vinny's going to get better, and if he's going to. That's what we need from Vinny, and we desperately need that from Vinny, especially if we're going to go far away. I mean, I said go far away, but we're going to go far this season. With our squad, I believe we can win everything that we compete in this year. I believe so. Knowing defensively this preseason, I know people are going to say, hey, it's preseason. You're just talking about preseason. But guess what? This time last year during preseason, we were getting our butts handed to us. So the fact that we went undefeated this preseason, we made silly mistakes like Real Madrid always do, of course. But offensively, we look more fluid. Defensively, we look a lot more solid. In our back, we're going to be starting Konate, and we're going to be starting Dean Huijsen. Now, the reason why I'm not worried about Dean Huijsen this season is because I believe Mourinho has coached Dean Huijsen before. I believe he coached him when he was at Roma. I believe Dean Huijsen was coached by Mourinho when he was at Roma. So I believe Mourinho knows his strengths and his weaknesses. And he's also going to have Dean Huijsen play on the left, which is where he usually plays anyway, even though he's a right-footed player. But he's one of the only right-footed players, or even players, period, that play defense and then can play comfortably with both feet. Bernardo Silva, yes, we didn't get Rodri, but from what I'm seeing from Bernardo Silva is what I like. Bernardo Silva is controlling, dictating the midfield. Yes, he's not Rodri, but he's able to escape presses. Which meaning, of course, if you play FIFA, you know press resistant or press proven. He can make the passes, and we don't need Bernardo Silva to make like long passes every single time or make the through pass to the striker to score every single time. No, I'm really happy seeing him in that midfield position because he dictates it and he can make that hockey assist, the assist that makes the assist. You know, he can escape pressure to be able to make the assist. Also, who can do that, I believe, is Jude. And the reason why I think he can play a number 8 instead of a number 10, because I would love to see him and Arda Güler play together in midfield. And the reason I say this is because Arda Güler is our best playmaker in midfield. But Jude Bellingham is our best, I would say our best number 8. He can make the passes, but he defends and presses like no man's business. He can escape presses. It's not like Jude is the best midfielder in the world. There is nobody better. There's no midfielder in the world better than Jude right now. I'm sorry. I know people are going to say Bruno Fernandes. I think Jude is better than Bruno. Now, does Bruno have better aspects to his game than Jude? Yes, he's a way better passer than Jude. Bruno is arguably the best passer in football. I can give him that. But he's not a better scorer than Jude. I don't think he's a better dribbler than Jude. He doesn't defend better than Jude. So when I'm talking about a midfielder, I'm not just talking about the fact that he can make passes. I'm talking about the totality of a midfielder. So I want Arda Güler to play. And I think Mourinho wants Arda Güler to play. And the way that I saw Arda Güler play, especially this last game against Schalke, man, Arda Güler and these passes, he was looking like Ozil. Not saying he is Ozil, so please don't attack me. I'm saying he was looking like Ozil. The passes that he made, once he received the ball, he knew where he wanted to go. And that's another reason why I love Bruno. Before Bruno even receives the ball, he knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going to go. He knows who he's going to set up. He's the only midfielder, and he's the only person in our midfield. And when I say midfield, I'm talking about who's playing that position, who's playing that deep pivot position with whoever he's going to be playing with. He's the only person that knows how to do it. He's the most technical, let me say the best technical player in our midfield right now. I don't think Mourinho's really worried about our midfield that much. But yes, I think he would like a Zubimendi, Rodri type of player, but I don't think he'll lack with Bernardo Silva. And I do think that Tchouaméni may end up getting benched because I believe that he wants to have Valverde in there. And I believe from what I'm seeing, Valverde is going to be playing a deeper position, more of a defensive role than anything, which is not bad. I just never wanted Valverde to be a box-to-box. Not because he's not good, it's because I don't think Valverde has the technical ability for it. In the sense of Valverde really isn't the best passer, nor is he really the best dribbler. And those are two big attributes I want in my midfield, especially somebody that's going to be our box-to-box. That's why I say I like Jude as our box-to-box. So what's going to most likely happen is going to be maybe a Valverde and Jude, or maybe a Valverde and what's his name, Bernardo Silva, or Tchouaméni in either one of those two. But I don't think you will be seeing Tchouaméni and Valverde playing together a lot, unless maybe we're trying to defend the lead and we need defensive players on the pitch instead of offensive. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Real Madrid play. Do I think we're going to beat Espanyol this weekend? Yeah, and I think it's going to be comfortable too. I think it's going to be very, very, very comfortable. I think that low block that everybody was doing for Real Madrid is going to go out the window. The tactics that Mourinho has implemented in this group, yeah, because everybody's not crowded on the left side. I'm going to be updating this YouTube channel with other things. Like, I'm going to get places where I'll be able to actually like show you some of the tactics, because there's some of the tactics that I've seen him use or implement that maybe you guys would like to see. So I'm going to start implementing that also into this segment, because yes, we're still boxies, of course, always going to be boxy, but this is a segment that, ooh, snap, I'm sorry, I just had a brain fart, but no, this is a segment that's going to be a part of boxy, and this segment is going to be called MADREAL. I just came up with that on the spot. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all like it, because I'm going to be mad real about my team. I love Real Madrid, but also yes, I have my biases of Real Madrid, but I'm very objective when it comes to my team. Very, very much so objective. To the extent where sometimes people think that I'm not even a real Real Madrid fan, but I'm an old school Madrid fan. I've been a Madrid fan since like 2000, since like the year 2000. I've been a Real Madrid fan. And the way that Real Madrid fans were that no player was above the club. No player was supported just solely by fans. They were supported because they played for Real Madrid. And once you left Real Madrid, hey, yeah, we wish you all the best, but hey, it is what it is. So I've always been of the fan base where if you play bad, especially consistently, we boo you. All that, oh no, keep giving them a chance. No. Sometimes you need tough love, and Real Madrid give their players tough love. And I think last year was the epitome of disaster, of what you can call a disaster last year. And I think that was the main reason. I'm not even going to say I think. That was the main reason Mourinho got in here. And I think since Mourinho's going to have his hands in this, this is going to be different. Because when you look at the way that they play, like I said, that left side isn't congested anymore. You actually see Mbappe on the right side. We're actually not like this last game against Schalke. Real Madrid played. Yes, we had Mbappe as the striker. That was his position. But the way that they played, it wasn't really a striker. Like Ibrahim, that was playing on the right, and Arda Güler that was playing as a cam. Arda Güler was playing more of a central / left midfielder, while Vinny was playing the left side, and Ibrahim was playing a right inside midfielder, while Mbappe was playing out wide. So every time we had the ball, Vinny and Mbappe were one-on-one with their backs, while the center backs were preoccupied with Arda Güler and Ibrahim. And because of our double pivot, the midfielder of Schalke were preoccupied by our pivots. So we had a lot more space to play in, which is great. I love to see it. I love to see us in space. And now that we have Jan is going to stretch the field so much that if you leave Jan wide open, he's going to terrorize you. If you leave Vinny wide open, he's going to terrorize you. If you leave Mbappe with center backs with space, he's going to get in on through. Now that I believe that maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, we'll see this weekend. From what I'm hearing, and I think I said it early in the show, I believe, and I'm hearing that Vinny most likely will not start because of him not being fully in shape, and Mourinho wants to have him in shape before he just starts. It seems like Mbappe is going to be playing his favorite position, out left. Now, we do have a young 19-year-old center forward. His name is, oh man, I don't want to butcher his name. So I'm just going to say I think it's Cespi or something like it. Cespi or something like that. I'll have to go back. So please forgive me. But that's the type of striker I wanted us to have for the past 2 years. So we'll be able to have a striker that preoccupies the center backs, because he's a big striker. He's like he's over 6 foot. I think he's like maybe like 6'2" or something like that. He's a big boy. And also at the same time, he's very, very good in the air. Very good. And he has the movement ability of a pure number 9 striker. He does have that. And yes, he's going to get bigger. I believe he's going to get better. One thing you can always say about Mourinho is this. When you play for Mourinho, you become better. Cristiano Ronaldo's best season for Real Madrid, one of them was underneath Mourinho. That season that we won, that we scored over 100 goals, and we had 100 points in the league. I mean, that was very. I mean, come on. Mourinho brings the best out of players. That's one thing I could say about Mourinho. Mourinho brings the best out of players, and that's why I wasn't mad when I heard that Mourinho was coming to Real Madrid. Would it be amazing for him to win a Champions League? Yes. So we'll see what goes on. We're going to see how Mourinho gets this team together and sees how he has them running. And we're going to see what he does against Barcelona, PSG, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, because those teams are the teams that we've lost to for the past 3 seasons. The 3 of those teams are the teams. No, actually, I don't think we lost to PSG because we haven't played PSG. But PSG have won Champions League twice in a row. You know, they're trying to pull a Madrid on everybody. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens, and we're going to see how good Real Madrid really are once this season starts. Tune in, and hey, Hala Madrid.